Hurricane versus Cure.
The bottom left, the Protoss player starting in red, able to take the game on Heavy Rain. Now he has to play on his opponent's map choice. It is the former FXO Protoss. It is Hurricane. And cross-positioned, of course, on Yonsu here, the two-player map to... Oh my god! Not mining with his SCV, starting to the top right. We have the Terran. It is Jin Air Green Wings Cure.
This happened to somebody yesterday. And the reason why this happens is sometimes when you are spamming, and you're spamming S to build SCVs, and you're boxing your units, and you hit stop, well, all of your units stop mining that you selected when you hit S on them. And can actually affect your barracks timing negatively. Not a huge deal for him here, but it was scary. It was just odd, you know, to see that. It's like panicky. You're like, whoa, what happened there?
It can miss with their timings at the beginning. It's not necessarily game deciding, but especially in the early game, it's really annoying.
And it's also just something that might get into your head a little bit. You're like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. That's so silly.
No. Well, right now we have gas taken once more for Cure. Starting things off with the barracks here, so he will be with the Reapers, be able to get into his opponent's base and have a quick look there. And this is going to be a very different ball game. And if you play on Heavy Rain, that's kind of the go-to map for Protoss these days against Terrans, since they know that they can always attack with Blink Stalkers. And they can either fully commit to the attack or just try to fake the opponent out. And that's kind of what Hurricane was trying to do in the last game. Cure really committing to his defense with 4 bunkers in total. And also a lot of Marauders, a lot of units that he had there that allowed Hurricane to get his own third up. Was also very well done since Hurricane was able to snipe the Reaper on the map. And that allowed, well, that made sure that Cure had no idea that there was a third base. There was already a third Nexus building, or he would have known that there would never have been a commitment by Hurricane.
Double chrono boost on the Zealots. He's actually trying to rush these Zealots across the map, which is going to keep the Reaper off his back. That's for sure. How much damage they're going to be able to do is yet to be seen, especially since he's wasting time chasing the SCV. You know, when you rally these Zealots across the map like that, you cannot. You actually chase the SCV twice. I'm actually shocked about this. I mean, he wants to get the Nexus up first. I think he's trying to dodge an eBay block here, but...
I think that's the reason.
Yeah, but he canceled the second gateway. That's basically, it's okay to do this, but he didn't need to chrono boost twice to do this. That actually is wasted energy.
Well, I mean, now the Reaper is there.
Yeah, and now he's going to lose that first Zealot. Possibly, because there's no the Mothership. Now it's there. He's going to lose some hit points, only 4 in the shields, but... That was just strange to me. They would chrono boost twice like that, and then there's definitely some hesitation where he was trying to decide what it was exactly he wanted to do with that Zealot. Good positioning here on the Mothership core to shut the Reaper down. It's not going to kill it, but he's, you know, any damage you can get to it makes it have to leave a little bit faster.
Yeah, Reaper gets in, has to run away from the Zealot so far. We have also the bunker immediately being built by Cure at the front just to make sure that there's no aggression that takes down his building SCV or anything else, so he doesn't fall for that. He knows that they have already been chrono boosts on the gateway, and he wants to make sure that he's in a position where he can defend against potential aggression. We have also, for Hurricane, now the tech started, and this time it's actually going to be a Robo.
Yeah, probably going to add his Forge pretty shortly afterwards as well. And this is starting to look like the most normal game we've seen so far, where it's not like Cure is having to deal with Blink Stalkers in the early game and a fake out. He's actually going to come and scout this Robo, though, which is really nice for him. Oh, he doesn't quite see it.
He sees the Stalker and wants to save the Reaper to scout another day, so he moves back for now, hides into in a corner right underneath that Christmas tree. And for Cure at this point, double barracks going straight into the Marine production. We have him also with the stim started. Oh. Here comes the Immortal, and we might not see that very normal game that we thought we would.
We don't see a Forge here. I was starting to wonder about that.
And chrono boosts on that Robo as well.
Stalker here in position to try to shut down this Immortal, or rather the Reaper. If the Reaper sees the robotics and no Forge, that's very telling, and that's what he sees. And if he sees the Immortal, then guess what?
Well, he sees the Chrono Boost, and he knows that it's either going to be the Warp Prism or the Immortal, and the Immortal is a little bit more likely. He has second Immortal now immediately being built. So Cure kind of knows what's going on there. With the Chrono Boost, there is no doubt in his mind what's happening here.
Oh. We had, I think, the unit tab open for a second. I saw it flicker. Warp Get Research did get researched, right? Because I saw it that disappear suddenly, and then we went into something else, and I wasn't sure if that happened.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one of those things where I don't have an observing PC anymore, and when these things flash like that, I get I get concerned. So
Yeah, it happens every now and then.
It's like really critical.
So many times when you actually think about an upgrade and you think it's halfway done and suddenly it disappears and you're like, did that finish or was it cancelled?
Yeah, it's scrolling through so many tabs.
So there we go, double immortal, and the Warp Prism is on the way too. The extra gateways are being added. He really wants to go for the aggression and just bust through, but the second bunker is building. The stim upgrade, on the other hand, is also about to be completed. It's going to take a little bit longer for him, so if he can somehow delay Hurricane, that would be great for him.
I think Hurricane's actually just going to back off and not do this.
It looks a little like it, right? Especially with the extra Forge that he's now adding.
Forge, he's starting probes again and adds the 2 gas as natural. And the robotic space. So he may actually just go with the Colossus later on instead, delay this.
There it is. There's the robotic space, so he's not really going for it. He added everything and then he decided to just fall back.
He got scouted, so it's a great choice to switch things up and try to... He even sees the probe, okay, you made a bunch of bunkers, you're panicking about this, but I'm not committing. That's what these 2 Marines go out there here to see. Are you faking me out again?
And he must know by now that this is the case. He doesn't see anything. There's no forward pylon, there's no army that he really has to deal with. And he has only built a few bunkers. He can always salvage those. Builds 1 missile turret.
And the Immortal drop is going to be annoying as well.
Yeah, that's going to be really annoying for him. But stims in and takes the shields away. That's all that he can do right now. Would of course love to stim in and get that Warp Prism. That would be like hitting the jackpot here to take the Warp Prism down while the 2 Immortals are still in there.
Yeah, he's not going to get it, but knowing the Warp Prism is there forces 2 Vikings. Which is actually not good for him.
I think if we could have tried to just chase down the Warp Prism with the Medivac. Yeah, you see that occasionally, but I guess he didn't really know where it was. And if he would be able to get there in time before the Warp Prism reaches like an abyss or can go somewhere off the map to the right.
Or if he warps in a few Stalkers or something like that, or a few Zealots while he's being chased, then kill those. But
this is totally exposed. It's very exposed.
It's going to be gone, man. Well, a few Zealots warped in, but I don't know if that's enough.
He might just be able to save that.
It's going to be close.
So much DPS.
He's not going to save it.
Yeah.
At the cost of like 3 Marines, and here come those Vikings. You may actually have to...
That's a big problem if you expose your tech structures like this. If you would have built it at the bottom left of his base, it would have been so much safer for him. But building it to the top left of the Proto space with the position that he started at, you kind of need to realize that this is the first place where Charonfly is going to move in with the Medivac. Yeah. So that was very unfortunate for Hurricane. He's building it now again, this time at the natural, in a little bit of a safer position while taking the 3rd base.
3rd base, meanwhile, is under attack. I don't think there's enough DPS to knock this down, but it's a very new Nexus. Does decide to run away as he sees the Colossi, and the rocks will be destroyed so they can bounce between his natural and his 3rd base so much easier. He's also got that Medivac defense in the main, so all the attacks from Cure are now finally over. They've been shut down. He's going to continue his own upgrades up back at home. But I still like Hurricane's position actually here, because he didn't lose his Immortals. He's still getting to a decent spot with his tech. His tech was kind of... it hit a hiccup, you know, where he lost that bay, but he's still getting charged.
That's a pretty big hiccup there.
Yeah. But he's getting charge out, right? And he's got a decent worker count. It's not ideal, but he's going to try to saturate 3 bases pretty quickly here. And the upgrades for Cure are a little bit slow. When I say I like his position, I mean he's not like behind. He's just not. He's definitely not ahead.
Well, there comes a big drop, and I'm a little bit afraid for Hurricane because so far his drop defense was not really all that great. But he saw these drops with one of his observers that is just crossing the map. So he must know that they're coming, and he still has units in the top left of his own main base, so he's just waiting for this. The Zealots are double checking, and they see now what's happening. And he's trying to just bait him here a little bit. There we go. Once again, Afterburn is being used, and Cure realizes that just for now, he won't be able to do any damage with the drop. He was already spotted way too early.
2nd Starport finishing up here, so he can make both Medivacs and Vikings at a time, or 4 of each, whichever one he wants. And he's also getting the attack upgrade for those Vikings. The Storm Research is coming down.
Ghost Academy follows for Cure.
Yeah, and the timing of this is actually pretty nice for Hurricane, because he's going to have Storm for quite some time before EMPs are really even a factor. And it's really about the upgrades, and this is something that Cure does not mess up or miss out on this time. He's got the Armory already ready. He starts +2 instantly.
Timing actually works out for Cure. The Ghost Academy is already about to be done, so he will have Ghosts in the game and also EMPs before the Storm is there. And the energy, so that's going to work out for him. If he starts to build the Ghost right away, they can build up the energy and the High Templars. He will have the EMPs ready. Or Snipes, depending on what exactly he wants to do. Just like that Storm upgrade takes so long to research. Yeah, if you don't Chrono Boost it constantly, and I actually think he missed a few Chrono Boosts there.
It's only like halfway done now. He has the Templar already built up their energy though, so that's really important to note. As long as he doesn't lose those Templar, this army is going to be fully stormable until those ghosts arrive, like you said. And this army needs to get out of here. Got to run away. Those 2 Vikings patrolling to stop Warp Prism harass is so cool, and that Warp Prism is not going to get anything done over on the right side.
Army supply is still very much even now. We have both of them being on 1-1. +2/+2 is faster for Cure though. And we only have 1 upgrade started for Hurricane, who's still posturing on the map. The Ghosts are now also ready. We have them in the game, we have them in the game so you can start snipes. At the same time, Mobius Director has been started.
I'm a little bit concerned about how many Vikings Cure is making. There's not that many Colossi. He's getting the range upgrade right now. But the Storms are going to be the issue, and his Ghosts are so delayed. I mean, you talked about earlier, you could have had the Ghosts out to kind of contest the High Templar a little bit, but now it's like his Ghosts are so late, the Templar are waiting there, and he can't attack this 4th base anymore without the Ghosts, so the 4th base goes up for Hurricane here. Blink is on the way, he's getting that forward. Not making any more Colossi, but still getting the range upgrade, because he's going to want that for later, and I like that choice. He's already seen several times with scouts and his observers, his Zealot run-bys, it's like, oh my god, you have a ton of Vikings. I don't want any Colossi right now, but later. Later I will.
We have 6 Ghosts now already in the game, so it's going to be enough. It's just a question if he gets close enough. And here comes that attempted drop of the War Prism, but yep, shut down right away. The double medivac in a good position, Secure playing the safe. Problematic for him is that he will have to cancel the command center here, but he wants to go into the main base instead. Oh wow, Vikings in assault mode even.
Vikings got to be good for something. There's only 1 Colossus on the map, and I think he's got like 13 Vikings. 14.
14 against 1 Colossus.
This is what I was talking about. He's just misreading how many... oh wow, if he can get these Ghosts, that's never a good trade. And now the 3rd base is exposed. The High Templar are ready for Storms and or feedbacks. The Medivacs were just baiting those out. Force fields go down here. Cure is in a bad spot. That's an understatement.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of that choke point, but well, he's trying to move in there. Where are the Ghosts? They're at the side. They get good Immerheoffs actually. I'm not quite sure if they hit all of the High Templars though, I doubt it. At the same time, he was taking the shields away from his opponent's army. There comes the first Storm and the second one follows. Still 6 Ghosts against 10 High Templars.
Yeah, 6 Ghosts against 10 High Templar. A really great Ghost count to have. He just needs to be able to get those EMPs off. Zealot's coming down here again. That's the most forward warping point he has. Doesn't have anything else. Doesn't have that Warp Prism anymore. +3 attack is very far ahead here for Cure, as you can see. And that's one thing it does have going for him. 2-1 against 2-2 upgrades currently as well.
3rd Colossus is being built, so Cure's Viking count is coming in useful.
Yeah, funny as it is to say.
Comes in handy there. There comes a 4th base up also for Cure. Once again the Storm, but the EMPs and of course those snipes were pretty decent. Those go down, but at the same time they take a few High Templars with them.
Yeah, this is going to force a lift on this command center that just landed. Ghost trying to get involved here.
Now we have still a few Marines just trying to take maybe one of the simulators down. 4th base now secured for Cure. At the same time, he has the 5th coming up. This is also true for Hurricane, who expands again to the right side of the map. Still this battle at the Terran player's 4th. And now the Vikings attempting to zone out his opponent's Colossi.
EMP hits all those Stalkers. They're going to regenerate their hit points pretty quickly. There's a base over here on the right side, the 5th base right now for Hurricane that he's securing, and there's nothing that Cure can do about it if he doesn't know about it. He doesn't see it yet.
It's just tricky for Cure to really attack into this position that he was trying to engage in, because the choke point is working so much against him. Doesn't even matter if it's only about the Storms, but also those Colossi can reach so much from a distance. So he cannot really attack, falls back for now, and Hurricane is moving out, and this is getting dangerous for him, since now the Terran player could set up a good position. But whoa, that Storm was good!
He killed so many of the Ghosts. Those other Ghosts didn't have enough energy for EMPs. They could have tried to snipe.
Well, he has 13, so he should have enough energy for a few EMPs there, but I think with his army there are only 5 of them. The rest of them are still staying at home.
Yeah, the ones with his army who didn't have enough, the ones at home, I don't know why they're at home. They shouldn't be. They need to get out here and get some EMPs going off. Good shots here with those Vikings, though. The Archon's not even sticking around. He needs High Templar to get Storms. Good snipes here. One Storm goes off, but it only gets a Ghost. Oh, he walks into the rest of it, though.
Good moves here by Cure, moving in again, trying to drop another EMP. 13 Ghosts, 17 Marauders, and 26 Marines. There are still a couple of Ghosts on that choke point that he doesn't really know about, I feel. We have both of them about to be maxed out, mass bases for all of them, especially Cure is adding one orbital after another.
Needs to snipe all these Zealots. He's got the Ghosts here ready. And here we go, he's going to engage here. EMP hits some of those High Templar. The rest of them have Storm still, and they are good on those Vikings. Needs another one on the bio, and there it is.
But he has decent dodges on most of the Storms. 1 or 2 hits here, but most of them he was able to evade. So really good job with the micro here for Cure. His unit control is pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. He's actually eliminating the mining here as well with the high ground vision from the medevacs and the Vikings. There's no way for Zealots to engage this. He doesn't have any Storms on the high ground. This base is no longer a mining base. The base on the right side is his next destination.
Hurricane is just losing his edge here. He's losing supply and he's losing his army supply. The base at the right side of the map doesn't really come into play just yet because he is not saturated. Here come those EMPs again against the entire army. And with another good stim, he could move in. Those High Templars getting so important now. There comes a Storm, not killing too much here. Maybe the medevac count is a little bit too low. He could get more of those, and there we go. 3 additional ones just joined the match.
He needs to get a few more Storms off. He needs to connect on this army 1 or 2 more times. EMP is going off here on the ramp. There's decent Storms on top of the Ghost again.
He's just so cautious. He's always waiting for that Storm to drop and moves back immediately, and it works for him. Here they come again. We have feedback. Snipes going down. The High Templars are gone. He has no High Templars anymore. No Storms. This is looking horrible for Hurricane.
But on the other hand, he has a lot of Colossi at the back, and there's no Vikings participating in this fight. The Immortals as well on the ground, helping out against the Marauders. He needs another warp into Zealots, and it doesn't look like he has it.
Well, he's moving through right now and takes down one. Colossus takes down the second one. A single Viking is helping out a little bit. And here we go. Hurricane dropping in supply once again. But he was so right, Wolf. In the last battle, he could have used a few more Vikings. With those, the battle would have just snowballed. But as is, Hurricane is able to hold and fight another day. But he is still damaged.
He's still damaged here. This base to the right side is his lifeline right now. The base for Cure that's near the 9 o'clock expansion is mining as well, unharassed and uncontested. You know, if he had the resources to drop a Warp Prism over there and harass with Zealots, or even a Storm drop, could do him so much good. Harvester count 77 to 67, which actually gives 10 more army supply available when we're maxed for Cure. And Cure's economy is just much better right now. He has the much better mineral income. The gas income is even. He's going to be able to add his own gas income if he wants it, but right now he's only concerned about minerals. He's only concerned about mules because his gas bank is much higher than he needs it to be.
He sees the base, by the way, now to the right side of the map. So he can send over a few units, and with all those satellite bases for Hurricane, it just makes it so much more difficult for him to defend all of them.
There's also a sensor tower up now on the right side of the map at that base for Cure, so he's going to be able to see any Zealot run-bys that come near him. This is not a good position for those Colossi to be. They need to get around this cliff. And here comes the attack at that base, just as we were describing. 3 Zealots and 1 High Templar is not going to be enough to defend this.
Yeah, even with a good Storm, he won't be able to contest it. Another round of Warp in might help him a little bit, but he's already moving back. He realizes that this Nexus is going to die either way. Being sniped there, and that puts the Terran player in a really advantageous position with his income. Once again, the Storm dodges are kind of alright. He gets another snipe off against those High Templars, and this is starting to become a big problem for Hurricane.
Oh, big problem indeed. Plasma Shield's on the way for him. He's trying anything he can. He's trying to get all the upgrades out that are existing in this game for him. This is always such a difficult place for the Terran player to engage up against Colossi, Cannons, and Storms, so he has to keep going around the backside, picking off the mining probes, but he's not able to ever kill the Nexus.
He's taking on the assimilators, and at the same time, this force that he has to the right side of the map is doing a lot of damage here. The Zealots, of course, are great to force that back for now, but at the same time, we have the Storm going down, hitting more Stalkers than Vikings, actually.
Yep, another Storm on the ramp there, keeping the Terran away. But that base to the right side still hasn't been retaken. He hasn't taken the base to the bottom right either, like the very bottom right. So the economy for the Terran player is still much better.
It's absolutely incredible.
And the gas for him is way better, and he doesn't even need it yet, but
he doesn't even use mules to get that huge advantage in income just because he has all those extra bases and mineral lines. And we have Hurricane kind of mining from 2 mineral lines at this point. It has 2 mining bases, and one of them is going to run out of mineral patches very soon.
He's a long distance mining at the bottom right here, where he's losing his probes, and the Terran army is now going to concave around this base.
So many Vikings now being built, and we have double Colossi production. So the counter is already on the way.
But he's great EMPs here. He doesn't hit the High Templar, though.
Yep. That's the one thing that he really wants. Get rid of those High Templars, 8 of them in the game, 15 ghosts already.
If he doesn't get a new base soon, the next engagement for Hurricane is going to be his last one, because he doesn't have the ability to remax his expensive gas units with only 600 gas per mineral or per minute coming in here. Plus the fact that the gas is on the base he has, both of the bases are starting to get relatively low.
And now that we have personal cloaking being researched, as soon as that's completed, it's going to be so much more difficult for Hurricane to dodge those EMPs and the snipes, especially since he doesn't have a single observer in the game.
This Nexus to the bottom right is going to go down. Meanwhile, DTs are trying to find an opening to harass.
That's a pretty nice touch with the DTs now. Really trying to just take away a bit of the pressure that Cure is currently executing. But without an observer, I think as soon as personal cloaking is done, he's going to lose every single high Templar, or at least the energy on them, and then the next fight is going to be brutal.
This is a great pickoff here on these medevacs, or rather on the units inside the medevacs by Hurricane. But he lost that base to the bottom right. He really needs another mine base right now. Here we go, Templar inside of that dropship. Dropship gets EMP'd. I don't know what happened to the Templar. They got erased there, but they still dropped the Storm.
Yeah, they dropped the Storms. The army supply is still in favor of the Terran player. Here comes another Storm trying to keep those Vikings at bay. Colossi moving back out of the distance, out of the range.
Natural now under fire from this drop. Will be cleaned up by a group of Zealots, but this next engagement is so critical. The Stalkers blink in here underneath that medevac. Storms again, actually doing some decent damage. The Colossi need to turn and fight, and here they go. Where are the charged Zealots? He needs more reinforcements.
Back and forth battle, and now suddenly Hurricane is on the run with his Colossi, and Cure is chasing hard. He's taking down Colossus #1. It kills one of the High Templars, 2 that was still remaining here. No Vikings, only 1 actually just trying to fight there. We have high ground High Templars for the Storms, and this time the Storms are beautiful.
They're really good, but they're on top of Ghost, you know, and Ghost just can sit there and ride out the Storms, especially with all his medevac support, and the army of Hurricane is starting to really flounder here.
Only 50 army supply left against 111. It looks like the Terran player is able to cure Hurricane from the idea of winning the series.
Yep, this is not looking good for him at all. Cure is remaxing so quickly. He still has the better income, especially when he drops those mules. He's been able to deny the base of the bottom right so many times. And finally now there are 15 Zealots on the map, so there's a little bit of a buffer for the Colossi and those Templar, instead of just being chased down by Marauders constantly and hoping he gets back to his Nexus in time.
The issue is really that the income of the Terran player is currently tripling the Protoss players, and that base to the bottom right has been spotted. He's currently just building that
He's
Nexus.
going to cloak, I think.
The third base is running out of mineral patches, and yeah, with the personal cloaking, as I said, there is no observer. He doesn't know where those ghosts are as soon as they cloak. He can see the shimmer and can try to storm that, but if those ghosts get the EMPs off or get the snipes in, then suddenly there are no storms, and that's exactly what he's waiting for.
He also keeps scanning to make sure there's no observers, and also to get good snipes on the high ground. They're actually engaging here a little bit. I don't even think he... I mean, I'm a little surprised he hasn't used the cloaking yet. He just wants to keep all the energy, I guess, as much as he can. He's a little bit more vulnerable to feedbacks, but Hurricane is in desperation mode right now. I mean, he's in such a bad spot. If he loses his army one more time, it's over. He's going to lose this Nexus here, which is one of his only 2 mining bases. The other base to the top left is under attack by 2 Marauders on the low ground.
There's no production at this point for Hurricane. He's in a cooldown again on gateways, I guess, but he's losing 1 Nexus after another, and things are looking very grim. A 60 army supply lead for Cure at this point, and Hurricane, he is fighting tooth and nail right now. He wants to win this. Feedback against the Ghost once again. An EMP goes in, hits a few of the High Templars.
Yep. 2 more Templar being warped in. That's all he can afford right now. A few more Zealots as well. He restarts the Nexus to the bottom right. That's really what he needs right now. Losing some of his probes here. He's down to 27 probes. 27 probes against 63, plus all the bases, plus all the mules. I mean, this is why it's so hard for Terran to fight Protoss. Just even with a massive army and a massive income lead, those Storms are so cost efficient. The Colossi swipes.
EMP against the High Templars was really good there. And now suddenly there are only 5 High Templars left, and most of those don't have the energy. I think 1 or 2 Storms, that's all that he's going to get out of it.
Great EMP on top of those Zealots as well. The Zealots can't fight up here on the high ground.
First Storm doesn't do a whole lot. Now the snipes come in again, and there's the GG. Cure advances to the consolation match. He has to fight Panic next. And Hurricane, he is out. He's back in Code B.
Does take 1 map. A really solid map in game number 2. But it's Cure who will advance to that consolation match. So a Protoss does fall here. And if Cure is able to win a second Terran versus Protoss in a row against Panic, then he will actually be our second Terran player to make it to Code S.
Roro already advancing to Code S, and either Panic or Cure will follow him.
This is terrible for Hurricane. He's teamless.
Yeah.
He's got nothing to show for himself now, and hopefully for him he can keep motivated to keep playing StarCraft II. I mean, this is a tough moment in your career, especially with only 3 seasons of WCS in Korea. I mean, now he's got to find somebody else. He's got to probably play a lot of online cups, and talking to a lot of teams and trying to prove himself and maybe go to an event somehow.
Definitely disappointing here for Hurricane. He is falling back to Code B, and Cure has another shot of going to Code S. He has to go through Panic, who lost in the winner's match against Roro. Before we're going to start into the last best of 3 of the day, though, we're having another short commercial break, and then it's time to find out who will join Roro and go into Code S today. Is it going to be the Terran players? Is it going to be the Protoss? We're going to find out in a few minutes. See you guys soon.